So Eleni, now if a lot of us were sitting working from home and all our regular routines have changed and so forth. So how can we use this time if I'm faced with those changes? What can I do while sitting at home? And for me to ask myself, maybe I can start changing certain behavior moving forward, or I can notice certain things that in normal times I didn't have the luxury of notice them. Can you recommend anything for us at this stage?
Yeah, thank you, Shadi.
Hmm.
I think this is a great time to explore human-centric leading.
Hmm.
And one of the ways to do it is to notice our inner chatter or
Hmm.
the thoughts we think repeatedly.
Hmm.
So we can slow down a little bit and just hear it. Or we can, if we don't notice it, we can ask ourselves questions such as, what are things I think frequently?
Hmm.
Or what do I say to myself? What's the story I tell myself in face of COVID or in face of the changes I've had to accommodate due to COVID and related work changes?
Hmm. So this mind chatter, how would it help me? It would help me expose things or know more things about myself. What can it help me do?
Yeah, definitely it's for self-awareness, because if
Hmm.
we notice what we think, we get to choose what we
Hmm.
think. So
Hmm.
most of us have the impression that our thoughts are uncontrollable at all times, and maybe on the Buddhist level they are. But if you think of it in a pragmatic way, you can say, "Oh, I'm thinking that I can't handle this,"
Okay.
or "I'm thinking that this I'll get through it,"
Mm.
or and those thoughts link to specific emotions, and that's why it's important. And let's introduce a triad here. What we think,
Mhm.
linking what we feel, and then what we do. So it's a mindset in the way we talk about it. We say triad because it's an easy diagram.
Mhm.
Um, if we know what we think, we can know how that makes us feel.
Okay.
And then what our thoughts and feelings do is motivate behavior.
Mhm.
And so imagine if I'm thinking, I can't handle this, whatever behavior I have is going to be a little bit tentative because I'm not really sure I can handle this.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I'm thinking, okay, this is not comfortable, but I can adapt somehow at my best, then my behavior is going to be more impactful.
Okay.
And so I think the more we understand our mindsets,
Mhm.
and it's really good to do this exercise where there's a lot of change that's imposed on us, then we notice what comes up for us. And the more we understand our mindsets, the more
Mhm.
power we have to choose them.
Yeah. So can it be in a situation whereby if let's say I'm in a meeting and I felt frustrated or angry or I snapped at someone in the meeting, can I start from the behavior and look at how I felt and thought at the same time? Because a
Definitely.
lot of us, these are things it's easy for us to pinpoint and to highlight.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. You can start anywhere on these
Hmm.
mindsets
Hmm.
or
Okay.
triads.
Okay.
So the easiest thing is to see our behavior, or if
Hmm.
somebody else saw our behavior and
Hmm.
pointed it out.
Hmm.
So we can see I snapped. So
Hmm.
what must I've been feeling or
Hmm.
thinking?
Okay.
I'm impatient, I'm
Hmm.
frustrated, this is ridiculous, the technology jams and I have to repeat myself 5 times, whatever the case.
Yeah.
And then we draw out the mindset, and then we see, how does that reflect us? Are we
Hmm.
happy with what we see, or would we like change?
Hmm. So, as a last point to all those viewers, try to use this time for you to start documenting. And even before documenting, you notice these behavior or thoughts or feeling and how they are all interrelated together. And use the triad, which is a very simple inverted triangle, as you saw in the image earlier on. Should use that as much as you want. And this is how, for us, the mind chatter works. Is you start noting these things down, and the more you do it, you start to know more about yourself. And when you know more about yourself, you start understanding how things are related. And then if you want to make a change, you know where to start making the change, whether in the thought, the feeling, or the behavior, and everything is linked together. Thank you, Eleni.
Thank you, Shadi.